Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change.
Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late on the show. And hello, Trendlin. As I said, and I keep saying each show, until February 18th, things are really rough for me. But I am doing shows as I can. Let's do the YouTuber stuff. And for some reason, man, I've got like a rash on my neck. I'm noticing it in the video here. I must not look in the mirror enough. But let's do the YouTuber stuff. Oh, and Bunchy is freaking out. Bunchy's like, you've got a rash. I'm worried about you. But if you enjoy this channel, I ask that you please at least subscribe. It does help boost my number and get me recommended to other people, which I certainly do appreciate. Twitter is on fire for me right now, so follow me on Twitter as Karen Ann Harlow. So I'm not on Facebook right now. Facebook has a glitch. I've been on a 24-hour ban for 4 days now. The timer doesn't move. I'm not really missing it all that much yet. Bunchy's like, get that, whatever you got, away from me. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Facebook or when I'll be back. It will not even let me use Messenger. So if you've tried to message me, I haven't left you unread. I haven't seen it. So email me. That's all I can tell you. Or get in touch with me on Twitter, because that's where I'm at nowadays. And last but not least, really, really do need your support on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I truly appreciate it. It helps keep this show going. And we're going to get right into the history. I'm trying to think if there's anything new to report. Nothing really. I was at the New Hampshire convention. It went really, really well. I don't think I'm going to be out of town at all for February, but I do have all of those reports to complete. I'm in the middle of writing the Colorado bylaws report now, and I know some of you from other state parties are just going to be, this is just how Colorado is. We have 4 hours allotted for bylaws proposals. We do that every time we have bylaws proposals. It's a bit nutty because I've been to enough conventions to know that's unusual, but that's the way we roll in Colorado. So I'm getting ready to write that report with I think we've got 31 proposals. We will not get to them all. Whatever. It is what it is. So we are back on February 1975, LP News. Of course, what I prefer to do, but I do want to encourage you all, before we get started on the history, go join LPedia, which is lpedia.org, and put in your little slice of LP history. Maybe just decide that you want... I know this heater is loud. It's cold in Colorado, okay, people? I'm a Florida girl. So, yeah, go keep up, perhaps, your state page up to date. There is always things to do on LPedia. But for today, we are on page 3 of that. I'd like to show it to you. And there's apparently some updates to eCam, which is the program that I use, that might make it easier for me to show comments on screen without losing them each time I change scenes. So I have to watch the videos on how to do these updates. I don't know how to do them yet, and I don't want to screw with them mid-screen. So let me pull this up right here. I think we are on this page. Looks kind of cool up there. And look, this Bunchy is freaking out too, but this Bunchy is running towards me. But yeah, we're working on this page. I just wanted you guys to get a glimpse of what it looked like. We're going to be dealing with Tuchelli's 50,000 vote hangover, potentially Cohen sees ill effects of stunts, and cultivating leadership. We already did LP join suit on campaign laws because that was continued from page 1. And that is so cool to hear, Trendlin. I'll put this on the screen since everyone can't see it now. So good luck on your political career in California, particularly in California. Okay, so let's go back up here to where I have the chat box, but it refreshes. See, that's what I don't like. I think the new update in eCam has new options for this. But let's get started on Tuchelli's 50,000 vote hangover. Alrighty, and it was written by Jerome Tuchelli himself. And if you remember, he was the governor candidate in New York that just did really well and had lots of really creative ideas. Okay. It was like being on a nonstop bender for 4 straight months. Ooh, I know that feeling. I didn't run a governor campaign, but it was like being on a nonstop bender when I did my town council campaign. From the beginning, I just got an email from the bylaws committee. Sorry, my Apple Watch distracted me. From the beginning of July right through to Election Day, November 5th, 1974, the campaign consumed hundreds of lives. Well, they weren't dead. That's not the way I would word it, but something close to $70,000 plus an invaluable supply of talent, energy, creativity, and plain bone-tiring labor. $70,000 was a lot of money in 1975. It's a lot of money today, but it was certainly a lot of money then. At no time during the campaign did I doubt for an instant we would get the 50,000 votes. Sometime in the middle of October, I became convinced we had already passed the mark, and we would be building up insurance votes during the last 3 weeks of the campaign. The optimism, my own at least, was genuine. It had to be, for me to hang on to my sanity and psych myself up each day for the concentrated effort required to merely survive for another 24 hours. You know, these types of really big campaigns are tough. When we needed the breaks, they came our way. Money? Several times when critical shortages of it threatened to sabotage the entire campaign, sizable chunks of legal tender were injected into the campaign and provided the necessary fuel to keep it going. Publicity? 10 times more than we hoped for last April was generated when we seemed to need it most. We could not have asked more of the New York Times, the Daily News, the New York Post, Newsday, the TV networks, and a couple of syndicated columnists if we controlled the media ourselves. The common folk, the ones I spoke to anyway, said they were impressed by our effort and would vote for us. The letters and phone calls kept coming in every time we showed the commercial. Who could doubt we'd get our 50,000 votes, with 30 or 40,000 more to spare? And you could tell disappointment's about to kick in, can't you? And then the election. Now the numbness has set in. Is it possible? As of this writing, there is not yet an official tally, but it appears that we have not only fallen short of our goal, but fallen considerably short. Why? How could a campaign as visible as this one fail to translate into votes? All sorts of theories are already beginning to sprout like mushrooms after the rain. The campaign was not pure enough. The campaign manager was wrong. The candidate was wrong. The commercial was too gimmicky. The literature was too slick. Everyone has his or her own favorite theory. I have one or two of my own, but all of them are pure guesswork at this point. It will take a good 6 months, maybe longer, before we are far enough away from it all to approach objectivity. For my part, my immediate reaction is that the campaign was too sophisticated. Lady Godiva, the Pyramid on the Mall, Chester A. Arthur, and most of our other demonstrations were tremendously successful with the media, but I don't think Mr. and Ms. Average Citizen out there knew what they were all about, with the exception of the hot dog giveaway. We pitched our message to Menken's, I don't know what word this is, Bubusi? Whatever. And since this was admittedly our target group, we should have kept it as simple and simplistic as possible. The kind of approach we used, a combination of political satire, high camp, and straightforward philosophizing, would have been more suited to an educated and sophisticated target group, in which case we would have been better advised to zero in on the civil liberty issues rather than taxes and inflation. This is not to say that educated upper middle class types are not also affected by the bread and butter issues, but for the most part, these people tend to be liberals who experience pangs of guilt every time they think about their own selfish materialism instead of the starving natives of Pago Pago. Or Pago Pago. I don't know how to pronounce that. As long as we were pitching to the Archie Bunker mentality, we should have geared our message accordingly. Another problem here is that the people we aimed for are the most seriously wedded to lifelong routine. Asking these people to change their voting habits is akin to asking them to change their religion. They would rather stay home than become political heretics, and this is precisely what they did in rather impressive numbers. The analytical process is only just beginning, but these are some of my own random thoughts in the aftermath of my own campaign. They may change somewhat as time rolls on. I am not sorry I ran, nor do I regret the choice of a campaign manager, advertising group, and campaign staff. I would not change any of that. The strategy was intelligently conceived and executed. It just turned out to be the wrong one for the group we were aiming at. I'm not so sure I agree with him, but it's his campaign. You know, it's tough to get people to switch their habits. I think that was the most on point thing he said there. Sometimes asking people to vote for a different political party, particularly a new one, is akin to asking them to change their religion. On net balance, I think the campaign was more than successful in generating publicity for both the Libertarian Party and our basic ideas. The movement as a whole can only gain from it. We have established media acceptance and respect, and we have made ourselves known to millions of Americans who never heard of us before. I remain committed to both the movement and the party. I see the Libertarian Party as a vital instrument for libertarian change. The party will continue to grow and make an impact on the political life of the country. It is important to keep it alive and functioning. I intend to keep on working for it both in New York and on the national level, and though I doubt that I will ever be a candidate for anything again. My job is at the typewriter and at the podium, but nothing else has changed. Give me Payne, Jefferson, and the Age of Reason, and W.C. Fields, too. I would not have it any other way. That's a really poignant campaign write-up there. By the way, while I was reading this, I don't know why this popped in my head, maybe because I'm still a little bit ass mad about it, but what the hell has happened to Reason Magazine? I know that's somewhat random, but they just, like, does their editorial staff not read things? Because they just posted a complete, utter piece of crap in a recent article. And I thought the whole article wasn't very good, but a lot of it was subjective. And, you know, what are you going to do? You disagree with people's opinions. But one line in it, at least, it might have been two, was just objectively false. And I think I am going to do a video calling them out because I'm tired of this shit. Okay, that was random, but I had to get that out. Okay, so speaking of campaigns, the next one we're going to read is about another New York campaign, which was Sandy Cohen. And it says, Cohen sees ill effects of stunts, because there was a lot of stunts done in Cohen's campaign. So let's see. And he wrote this article. So the other article about the Ciuccelli campaign was written by Jerome Ciuccelli, and the one about the Cohen campaign is written by Sandy Cohen. Said, nude posters like ours, or women riding on horseback nude, I see a theme, or any bizarre activity from here on in must be thrown out the window. I don't agree with him. I want more stunts. I don't agree with him, but this is his opinion. I understand why we did the nude poster. I understand why the Ciuccelli people did what they did. Don't be ragging on another campaign, dude, when you're writing about your own. I'm sorry, I am going to criticize Sandy here for doing this. They did it to get press coverage. That's panic politics. No, it's not. It's theatrical politics, and it often works. We've seen that today. I have a question about my opinion on the Ritter debacle. At the risk of having an Aleppo moment, I have no idea what you're talking about. I probably should, but I am so busy that I live in a bubble. So maybe I do, and I'm just not recognizing what you're saying, but I'm not sure what you're asking me. I only conclude this now. We did the poster a long time ago, recognizing that it was dangerous. We had no votes, so to get known, we decided to do a nude poster. Hey, Julian, it's been a long time. Everyone would notice us, and we'd still have plenty of time to explain. For the most part, that worked out. The Ciuccelli campaign did things like that up to the last minute. Again, understandable. In New York City, if you kill someone with a gun or knife, no one pays attention. You've got to do something really exciting to get in the newspapers. So I understand that to get coverage, they did several things that at this point I would consider bizarre. I am not liking this comment by Sandy at all. Talk about your own campaign. Stop ragging on someone else's campaign, dude. We can no longer do things which are going to turn off those people who must make up the political base of this party, eventually, in order for it to be successful. I don't think anything Jerry Tuccelli did was outrageous. Your nude poster, perhaps. But I could tell you, Sandy, I don't know if you're still around in the party, but you wouldn't like me. And they are not libertarians. He's not talking about the people who did these things. He's talking about the voter base we need to appeal to. If you're worried about libertarian messages appealing to non-libertarians, you are in for the doomed cause. It isn't the stunts. It's the fact that you're talking to people who aren't ready to hear it yet. We are in the minority. I'm going to be doing a whole other show, hopefully in the near future. Again, I've done a lot of this on national divorce type things. We are not going to turn this country libertarian. We're not. Face reality. I think the Free State Project has it right. Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep trying, because who knows? There could be a great awakening. But as things have gone so far, I'm just being super realistic here. But they can be, so long as they're not turned off too soon. If these sorts of things turn them off, they're not going to be libertarian. A lot of these people have hang-ups, and they don't know what we're about, so why scare them off? You don't think things like legalize child labor would scare them off? You don't think things like legalize all drugs? I mean, I'll just read the platform to you. You don't think that would scare them off? No, it was a lady riding nude imitating Lady Godiva. Okay. Yeah. So that has got to go. It hurts us. Too bad, so sad, sucks to be you. You're not going to go to a straight in town, get money from him, if you're catering to pimps, prostitutes, junkies, and weirdos. Okay, I'm going to finish reading this article, but I can tell you just right now, this dude's worried about turning off non-libertarians. He just turned off a libertarian. But I think that if that's our political base, if that's what we're searching for support, then we're committing political suicide before we get off the ground. If we have to resort to that from here on in, then we better forget it, because it's only going to injure us. Oh well, here I am 50 years later, dude. Sucks to be you. We have a lot of straight things to talk about, things that are on people's minds. We're getting recognition. We have libertarians with big names throughout the country now. Libertarian advocates among conservatives and liberals. And this is the making of a Beltway libertarian right here. Sorry, anybody who's a big Sandy Cohen fan. I'm not after reading this article. We need a little bit of both. We need people like that, and we need some of the weirdos. Okay, last article from this page. Again, there's a lot of material here, but it is called Cultivating Leadership. It said these are excerpts from a post-election analysis written by LP member K.G. Haroff, an independent candidate for U.S. Senate from Ohio in 1974. This is funny because she seems to be saying like something different from Sandy. It would appear that a strong, hardcore, full-time candidate is the best investment libertarians can make in any political campaign. All the Haroff campaign's publicity, and it was sizable, even despite all the many media that persisted in ignoring me completely, concerned our principles and platform positions. With almost no excuse, we got literally pages of newspaper space and hours upon hours of radio TV time. Publicity stunts may get coverage, but so can our principles and positions. As those of you who campaigned with me know, I never mentioned, much less attacked, the other candidates or parties unless pushed into some comment. Rarely, if ever, did I mention a position without explaining the principles involved, and I so agree with that. I refused to ever admit that any evasion or compromise of principle was acceptable morally, pointing out the often horrifying results of past political compromises. What a difference. I'm loving her article already. It would seem then that the most educational campaign is also the most effective in terms of votes. I am convinced that we libertarians hold wide appeal potentially to every segment of the population. The broad libertarian movement is like a natural resource, a new idea, concept, or invention. Without that solid, consistent philosophical base, our revolution would not be possible. But that base could exist for centuries, and without the activities, it would remain unknown and of little benefit or no benefit to any great number of people. It seems self-evident that the only practical and effective vehicle of change is the Libertarian Party, not only for desperately needed immediate political reform and relief of human suffering, but solid, long-term, radical change as well. If libertarians are not prepared to assume a strong and sure political image and philosophical leadership, they might as well retreat to their living room discussion group wombs and give up the whole idea of political action altogether. Number one hang-up. The LP must cultivate and develop strong leadership within the party and national, as a party, both leaders and stars. This is a major political reality that LP members must stop evading. Number one necessity. No one should run as an LP candidate who is unable or unwilling to stand unequivocally and effectively on the hard-line LP principles and platform. God damn it, I love her. Man! You know what? I'm going to tweet that. Okay? You go, girl. Number one, waste. The LP needs to take itself seriously if it expects to earn and deserve the respect of voters. The freak shows, gimmicks, demonstrations, etc. are good, clean, fun, to be sure. So she's like saying, okay, you can do the gimmicks, but they should be properly left to libertarian youth or campus groups. I do think there's a time and a place. I would agree with her there. Number one. Oh, check this out. Number one unpleasant task. The activists must lead the party. Can I get a witness? The dilettante discussion groupies ignored or sidetracked. In other words, the Beltway libertarians. The philosophy is ready as it never has been before. The people everywhere are ready as never before, waiting for a new, positive, strong, and sane direction and leadership. I am definitely tweeting out that one quote from her. That was a great article. That was way better than that Sandy Cohen article. And that's going to be it for that portion, or at least the LP News portion. But I want to show you guys something. I promised I'd be having new merch. I want to show you this one cool shirt I just did. If I can find it on my desktop where I downloaded. Did it not download? Hold on. Is this it? Hold on. Let me screenshot it from Twitter. I don't know what happened. I just don't think it wanted to download an image. So just let me screenshot. But there's going to be some more merch put up. But here is my latest. I identify as hating the state. So if you want to proudly show your identity, head on over. I'm going to put this up here to my merchandise store on Teespring. You can get there through tinyurl.com/Pink Flame Merch, MERCH, and pick up your I identify as hating the state shirt. It could start some conversations. It, kind of pokes a little fun at the wokeism, and it shows, shows your street cred, right? As Murray Rothbard said, do you hate the state? I frickin' hate the state. So there you go. You can show you hate the state as well and support the show as well. I'm going to be putting up a few more shirts. The merchandise has been pretty slim since I took down all the Reno merchandise. But again, that's tinyurl.com/Pink Flame merch. And hello, JJ, you're coming in right at the end. Right at the end. So, and hello, Jean. I hope you are doing well. Well, I'm going to get going. I don't know if there'll be a show tomorrow. There might be. This one was late because I had a Colorado Convention Committee meeting. Tomorrow I have a National Convention Committee meeting. Thursday I have a Douglas County Libertarian Party meeting. And Friday I have an LPCO. Okay. Friday I have an LPCO Platform Committee meeting. Sunday I have an LPCO Bylaws Committee meeting. No, that's Saturday. I have an LPCO Bylaws Committee meeting. Sunday afternoon, I have an LP of Douglas County Bylaws Committee meeting. And Sunday night, I have an LNC meeting. LNC meeting. No, Saturday isn't LPCO Colorado. It's Monday. I think Saturday night might actually be a date night for me and my husband. But when I tell you that now through February 18th, I pretty much have a meeting every night. I am shitting you not. Does this face look like it would shit you? I shit you not. So I will do shows as I can. But yeah, this is just a rough, small stretch for me. All right, you all. I hope you have a good night. And maybe see you tomorrow. But I will see you as soon as possible. Love you. Bye-bye.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to